Welcome to Vialet Studio, where Vialet and her guests share stories of their passions, inspirations, and spiritual journeys. Vialet creates a sacred and fun space for individuals to be able to share information about themselves, their work, and their community. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet. Vialet Rayne.
Welcome to Vialet Studio. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited. I have Christine Alexandria, and we talked to her like 2 years ago on our Discover Your Spiritual Gifts podcast show. And so I'm glad to have her here. We carry a lot of her products in our store, and I share those in my angelic Reiki class, and the students love them. They're one of our big items. And so I love having her on the show and seeing where she is. So Christine, share with us your spiritual journey. What got you to what you do today? Because there's always something that pulls us along, and I like others watching to understand if they're being pulled along, they're not alone. We all kind of get pulled on to our path and our journey. So share with us your story a little bit, who you are and what that was for you.
Well, first of all, Vialet, thank you for having me on. I've missed you guys so much. It's such an honor, and it's honestly so much fun to hang out with you guys for a little bit. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Christine Alexandria. I'm the founder of Angel Chatters. So even my business name has the story, like so many of us that are intuitive and empathic and budding, we're kind of not sure what we're budding. We know we want to help people. Go back to when I was in junior high, our guidance counselor came in and went around the room and asked each one of us what we wished to be. And I just blurted out, I wanted to be a psychologist. And I really actually didn't even know what one was, but spirit, angels, those are whom I are, said, you're here to help people. Because being empathic, I can sense what's going on. I may not, because I try very hard to respect people's privacy, but I know when it affects me and something's off. So even as a child, I knew this. And it was this desire helping people to remember who they are so they can shine their own brilliance. So they weren't worried about what you were doing, what I was doing. They're doing their own thing, but then there's this beautiful collective, this beautiful community that grows and supports. So you go back to junior high. I want to help people. Well, then I took a really big detour, and my high school guidance counselor said, guess what? You would be a great court reporter. Really? Okay. I went to court reporting school. So no, it did not work well. And, I took that detour. I did the corporate thing. I was administrative assistant. That's actually where I met my husband. We're going on 36 years this year. And, so it served its purpose, met my amazing soulmate, had amazing children and had this lovely life. But it was around when our daughters got to that early teenager years that Mama Bear knew she couldn't protect them all the time. And the angels saying, hallelujah, she is finally going to start listening to us again. So I really started dabbling, read books on angels, took a course here, took a course kind of there. It was exploratory. What is this woo-woo thing about, this metaphysical thing, really? And just started diving deep. And started going down that rabbit hole, but pulling back and working on what I was learning, depending on the course, and allowing myself to integrate it into my day-to-day life and playing with it, incorporating it. And the angels became a very big part of what I went to. I got trained and am authorized as an archangel enlightenment therapist from a school in the UK. And you start playing with your business, because then I was even thinking, oh, maybe this is a business. Maybe I'm not just doing this for giggles and grins here. I had no idea. And that was kind of So my daughter, our eldest, came up to me and said, Mom, how teenagers can do it. They can roll your eyes and look at you in total exasperation to Mom. You chat with angels. Your business name is Angel Chatter. cool, like it. And she came back about 10 minutes later, and that's my logo that you see behind me. And here's your logo. And as you know, Violet, that's still my logo and obviously still my business name. But because we are all multifaceted, I'm a Reiki master teacher, I'm an integrated master teacher, I'm a magnified healer teacher, kind of getting the theme, teacher, licensed crystal therapist, archangel enlightenment therapist, certified soul coach, and who knows what else is going to come on down the road. I needed to have something that would allow me to expand. And Angel Chatter did it. It's not just angels, because I found out, it's actually right after you and I met, or right before we met. I had just come back from France and had this massive life-changing event with Mary Magdalene, who is as much of my life now as the angels. In fact, I am coming out with my next Oracle deck and due to be released next month. And it is channeled from the Magdalene. And it will be, based on my research, the second deck in the world that is solely dedicated to her. The artwork is, it makes me cry. What can I say? It makes me cry. It's so beautiful. And a woman who's very close to my heart, also very close to the Magdalene. And I let her read it to get a review. And she says she had tears coming down her face because she knows it's the Magdalene that is speaking through the cards. So all of these things, and that's the beautiful thing about all of our journeys. We just don't get there and go, yay, we won, or yay, we did it. Well, yes, congratulations. We reached that next milestone. I mean, look at you. You expanded your business and your storefront in the year where people were shutting down.
It's kind of, yeah, we had lots of metaphysical stores here in Denver that closed during COVID and the pandemic that didn't move through the process, didn't find their way through. And we expanded almost like the phoenix rising from the fire, right? So the flood happens and then COVID hits, and most people expected us never to reopen, and we did. So
and you came back better than ever.
We did. People come in, they're like, this is not the same place. What happened? I'm like, well, she got bigger.
That's right. And that's the beauty of all of us. It's looking at what our desires are, and thinking about, wow, that gets me really excited. Wow, this is a gift of mine, but then making it you. How do you share your gift that is a reflection of you, which is why I developed the Be You program. I've authorized dozens of women thus far who want to be able to incorporate angel readings within their business line. It's fabulous. But they all have different gifts. One's medium, one does Akashic records, one does QHTT, one does, more crystals than anything else. One really talks to the ascended masters. So it doesn't matter. It's because they're owning their gifts and incorporating it all. Well, I love to cook and bake. I'm a frustrated landscape architect. That would have been a really good landscape architect. But helping people and inspiring them and empowering them to remember who they are, that honestly, that's what gets me up in the morning.
Well, and that's awesome. What I love hearing from you is I see lots of spiritual leaders, teachers that find their thing and then they just stop. And it's like, I don't think we're supposed to stop. I love the fact that, hey, I don't know what the next thing is, but it's coming. There's always another layer. There's always something else I can learn. There's always something else I can incorporate. And that's one thing about me is every year I'm writing books on a new class, and I'm writing books now on my next class constantly. And my husband's like, are you ever going to be finished? And I'm like,
no,
I don't think that exists, right? You get that done. And I don't know about you, but my guides have already got my list in the head of what's next. What do you need to work on next? What after this, you're going to be doing this. And it's like, I don't see an end game here yet. And I don't know that we're supposed to. We're supposed to expand and grow and learn and keep keep layering it on, right? And keep bringing in those layers. So I love that. And I love Mary Magdalene. One of the classes I taught this weekend is beauty, and Mary Magdalene is definitely a big part of that class, and roses, and her passion and her beauty that she brings through. So I can't wait to see your cards,
Oh, thank
honestly.
you.
I love Mary Magdalene. I love working with Mary Magdalene. And so I love her story and her framework and the energy when she comes in, and have always been drawn to her. So I can't wait to
Oh,
see.
she is so fierce and so, but she's fierce in that way that she pushed me. So when I came home from France, because I have known about the second deck since the first deck came out, and that's been out. Well, we're on the third edition. I think it's been out a good 10 years. And and I tried a few times on that second deck. I even commissioned some artwork to inspire me, and it was always at best. And I was like, this is just, when it becomes that hard, I know I'm not doing, it's not in alignment with me. So I'll put it aside. I'm not saying no, I'll just put it aside and wait for things to shift. And it's usually me that has to shift, figure out what they're trying to tell me specifically. So I came home from France and she went, oh, by the way, that deck, that deck is mine. Sit down and start taking dictation. And her energy, as you probably know, is extremely intense. So I could only do no more than 3 cards a day, because each card has its own message. And then within the guidebook is a more in-depth channeled message from her, complete with a ritual, and then an ask formation, which is something the angels gave me, but she wanted it incorporated. So if I got 3 cards done in one day, that was it. I was done. So I put a limit on her to 2 for that reason. But the magic hour, Violet, was, and I found it fascinating. It wasn't planned. 3:00 in the afternoon. Whenever she and I work and do our serious work, it's 3:00 in the afternoon. She shows up and we get to work. And she's part of my council, my board of directors, along with her beloved and a whole host of other people that are helping. So it's a beautiful unfolding. And because of her, Kuan Yin has come in more pronounced, even through not just the magnified healing, but that way, Isis, Aphrodite, and of course, the Great Mary. So this other council of goddesses have now entered to join hands with the angelic realm, but I was already working with. So you have the card deck. Since the card deck came out, I'm working with Jeremiah, Azrael, Ariel more consciously than I was before. So even that, we expand.
Wow. Sounds amazing. Well, I love your book, Angel Chatter. Talk to us
Thank
a
you.
little bit about that book for people that don't have it or people that do have it. Tell us what your driving force was in that book and what people can expect picking up the book, Angel Chatter, because it's one of my favorites.
Thank you. So the book came after my very first product was the Angel Chatter Oracle cards. And as I met one of your partners, employees, Jason, he said, came over and I met him at one of the shows. And I ended up gifting him the book. And he said he read it the entire way back to Colorado. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. But people like him would come over and, though Jason didn't ask, but people kept coming up to me, hey, can you teach me? Hey, can you do, hey? And I'm like, huh, okay. So each one of the angels within the card deck now has a chapter completely devoted to them within Angel Chatter, Heavenly Guidance. And each angel follows the same format. Talks about their chakra connection, though there are angels like Thuriel, angel of animals, doesn't have a chakra connection. Each one has a guided meditation that was channeled from them, their crystal resonance, my personal interaction with that angel specifically. What else does it have? It talks a little bit about the zodiac connection. So it was a way to give people a great introduction to the angelic realm, to these specific angels that wasn't just fluffy lollipops and unicorns, because woven in each chapter is an angelic activity. Here's a clip, it's your homework. But it became the base of the BU program. So the BU program then, happened a few years after the book came out, taking each one of those angels, that chapter, and building upon that for an entire module. But then each angel said, the book is great, but Sandalphon, as an example, came forward and said, we're going to talk about the Kabbalah. I went, really? Because I barely know how to spell Kabbalah. Now you want me to introduce it to you, to students in this section? He said, yes. Okay. You need to explain this to me. He says, okay, let's go for a walk. Because where we live right now, I have woods out our back door and I can go and get lost for miles and miles. And don't you know, he did. So in the BU program, the Kabbalah is now included in Sandalphon's section in his module. So the book is a great base for beginners, though I have seasoned people that have been doing this, what we do, for many, many years as a business, and they still found great value in the book. Chris Fleming, who is from the United States, as an example, but he does a lot of shows, ghost hunting related shows in the UK, said he loves the book and the card deck because it does take things a bit deeper than what's been out there so far, because so many angel books, oh, angels are lovely, ask and they'll help, which is true, but it's that uncertainty and that I'm not worthy to have angels in my life. Well, first, yes, you are. Everybody is, because they're here to help us.
Well,
but it's up to us to ask.
Connect, right?
Right.
Well, once we can, I just met some metaphysical, spiritual folks in my community or out in the community, and they're like, we don't work with angels. And I said, that's too bad. That was really my answer. That's really too
don't
bad.
know what you're missing.
And they said, but it's very religious. And I said, no, I said, they're not connected to a religion. Religions grabbed them and made them part of it. But that's not really.
Oh, I am so glad you brought that up, because Christianity, Muslims, Jewish, all religions that I am aware of recognize angels, which means, yeah, they can play into a religion, but the religions aren't based upon them. They are messengers of God. That's what angels mean, that name, that word, but they are non-religious. They're energy. They're not feminine or masculine. We're the ones that gave them feminine and masculine traits. They're pure energy. They can appear as we are best able to receive them at that moment. So there's a story I love to share. My husband and I are coming back from our second honeymoon, and my parents were watching our daughters. We lived in Massachusetts, and we were on the boat going across the Atlantic. So obviously there was no connectivity. We land in New York. We knew my dad was going home to Delaware ahead of time. My dad gets into trouble when he's left. He hurt himself somehow. I forget. I can't even remember. So mom left to go tend to her beloved. And there was like 1 or 2 days left. So our dear friends and neighbors across the street said, not a problem. I'll take care of them. They'll be home anyway. So I get this note knowing that the girls are fine, but mama wanted to be home. We had to dock, we had to go through, immigration, all of the checking in, and get a cab and catch it over to Grand Central in under 2 hours to get the next train out, or we had to wait, I think it was 6 or 8 hours. That wasn't an option as far as I was concerned. I wanted to be on the next train, and my husband says, not happening. I said, oh, you watch. So we pull up to Grand Central. Cars are parked 3 or 4 deep. Don't see a red cap in sight. Pop out of the cab, bend over to get something out, turn around, and there's a red cap. Hi, may I help you? The man exuded calmness. And I said, yes, this is what's going on. He said, not a problem. Took us to the counter. He says, I'm going to wait by the escalator for when you are ready. Now, we have been jilted a little bit by some helpful hands in Italy helping us with our luggage and then putting the hand out. So we were a little wary. So my husband says, keep an eye on him. And I turn around and he just waved. Okay. Helped us onto the train, got our luggage set. We gave him a tip, went back out, went to actually give him a bigger tip because it was just so easy. Went on the platform, which was completely empty. He was nowhere to be seen, and there were no other passengers.
Wow.
An angel. Now, if an angel had shown up looking like, I don't know, like you, gorgeous woman, but you're really not in alignment to help us get on the train.
Mm-hmm.
An angel showed up as a red cap, helped us get our tickets, got us on the train, and then gone. That's how angels can and do and are helping us every single day. It's so much fun and it's so magical, but we do have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
We do have to then not just ask, but then let it go. Because have you ever, and I'm so guilty of this, I ask and then I go, was that the sign? Or is that the sign? Oh, maybe that's the sign over there. We start micromanaging everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, for the love of everything, would you just stop? Relax. You asked us to do this. You thanked us for doing it. We're on it. Let it go. Just be aware of when we do give you the signs, you pay attention.
Right. Right. And, it's really important because people don't understand that. Angels, you need to ask them for this help. You need to ask them for what you need. And you need to be clear in what you're asking for. That's the other thing. They're not going to filter it. So you got to be
Oh, you couldn't be more correct on that one. Because we will often, because money's a big hang up for a lot of people. I'm like, oh, why can't I make more money? Why can't I make ends meet? And why can't I? And they go, oh, well, I guess you just want more bills. Here you go. Here's that bill. Oh, here's one more for you. That's what you asked for. They don't interpret. So it is, which is a great lesson for us to become more aware of what it is we actually desire, right?
Yeah.
And what gets us excited, like I shared with you before we started our official interview, we're moving to the Williamsburg, Virginia area, Colonial Williamsburg. And we've been visiting this place for, I don't know, decades. Took our girls there when they were these little things and strollers and the whole bit. And they have this thing where they're, for gates, a chain is attached on the gate as well as the fence, and the cannonball holds it. So the gate is always going to close because the weight will just naturally close it. And it was like, I've always thought they were kind of fun, quirky. Like I put this order in decades, like, oh, how cool would it be to have a house that has one of these? Right? We love to cook, especially my husband. So we knew having a nicer kitchen. Every place we've ever lived has had water on the property. Soaking tub, it doesn't have it. Don't even show me the house because I know I need that. It has to be near woods. All of these places for our family to gather. You're not going to come visit us and go to a hotel. You're staying with us. This house has everything I just listed and more, down to the chain with the cannonball. We just ask and go, okay, that would be really fun to have. And that's, for me, has become one of the keys. I'm not hyper focused on it. Wow, that would be really fun. How cool would it be if, a couple of years ago, I'm out walking with a friend in the woods. And I told her, I said, I've never seen an owl in the woods before. Wouldn't that be cool? I am not kidding. In under a minute, an owl flew right by my head.
Wow.
Where I went then running after the woods to get a picture of it to document this event happening. So that's one of the keys for us all, is to make what we desire fun. We can all be glib and say, I want to be happy. Well, I'm not going to disagree with that. We all deserve to be happy, but what makes me happy and what makes you happy, and what makes everybody else is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really forcing us, allowing us, permitting us to be a bit more detailed focused.
Yep, absolutely. And happiness is different from everyone. How many people have you ever said, tell me what would make you happy? And they don't know.
And that saddens me.
Isn't
And
that
that's,
sad?
the other reason I started the BU program, so people can remember what makes you happy. So you can be really super comfortable in your own skin. So you can be super happy and own your gifts, whether it's bookkeeping, chatting with angels, running an amazing metaphysical store, being a garbage collector, author, it doesn't matter. It's what makes you happy.
Right? And it's really, really powerful. So, talk to us a little bit about some of your classes and your offerings that you offer, because I know that you offer for anyone, anywhere can be part of your community and get some of the things that you offer. So, chat
Oh,
with us
thank
a
you.
little
Yeah,
bit about
so
that.
if you're on Facebook, come find me, Christine Alexandria. We have a beautiful closed group called, guess what? Angel Chatter. We keep it closed because we keep it sacred. There's one huge big rule. It's the no political zone. We are very clear from that from the get-go. You post anything political, not only are you out, you're banned. There's no politics at all. Um, it's a great place to explore, ask questions, give support, get support. So that's the general group. My big program, my beauty, my baby, besides my human children, is indeed the BU program. It's taking that card deck, taking the Angel Chatter Heavenly Guidance book, which is right over there, adding in the affirmations, adding in crystals, guided meditations, and really breaking this down at your own pace. We switched it to an automated format, and it's always been you work at your own place, because life happens. We get married, we move, maybe unfortunately there's a death. Oh, we expand our store, we have a baby, we have all these life things that I get tired. We have these things happen that we just don't have the energy. And I'm not here to add more things for you to do, but I'm here to help you to be. So the course, once you're in it for life, unless you truly misbehave. Because so many programs go, no, you have to re-up every year. It just didn't feel right. You buy the course once and you're in it. It's automated, it's on a completely different program, but then that gets you as the student into the exclusive student Facebook group where we meet twice a month on Facebook Lives, which are recorded, ask questions, we hang out, and there tends to be an agenda, but we often go up script thanks to the Halo and Winged people. So it's all up to them which direction we're going to go. And then every year there is, as a student, you're eligible to attend the student retreat. This year, 2021, we're going to continue to do it virtually because that's what the students decided they were the most comfortable with. Next year, 2022, we will be having it in Colonial Williamsburg. So if you haven't been there, it's a really cool place to go hang out and go walking around. So students will be tacking on extra days before or after just to go and see something that they probably haven't seen before. So there will be more little courses that I come out with, but that's going to be like the big signature course with me. The Magdalene may have a different story as time goes on, but the BU program, I mean, it's so difficult for us to shed skin because we can get so wrapped up in mindset. So my family's always had bad backs. I'm going to have a bad back. My family's diabetic. I'm going to be diabetic. Or, we can buy into these things, or I'm being greedy for wanting more because this isn't so bad right now. But if it doesn't get you juiced up, it's not in complete alignment with you. But a lot of it comes down to loving ourselves more. And it'll never be enough because we've got this thing called ego that says, who do you think you are?
Right.
Right. So it's learning and remembering those facets that, I forgot I had this gift of channeling the angelic realm. Literally forgot, had no clue for decades. And because it wasn't normal. My dad's this chemical engineer. My mom's this brilliant domestic goddess. And here I come. Hi, I talk with angels. So it wasn't frowned upon, but it was a little freaky. So it came terms over time, little by little, to get comfortable indeed with that gift. And now that it's out, it's gone, keeps growing like crazy. I've been channeling people that have crossed over quite a bit lately. And in fact, there's this one gentleman, he's an uncle of my clients who is still here, but I'd say about 80% of the time he pops into her sessions because he's got stuff to tell her. And he doesn't use the word stuff. It's just he's a saucy sailor talking kind of guy. And she goes, "Oh my God, that's him." So your gifts just continue to expand no matter what your gifts are. So it's really owning it. And we told our girls when they were growing up, we don't care what you do when you get older, but 2 requirements. It has to be legal. And 2, you have to make enough to live on your own because we love you, but you're not living with us the rest of your life. So do what makes you happy. And when you're doing what makes you happy, everything else falls into place. So what makes you happy? Where do you get excited? Where do you get lit up? And if you're not sure, I do indeed do private sessions, one-offs, mentor packaging. I have a year package, and we did open it up for 2, but we're already booked for private weekends for the remainder of this year. We'll be offering more next year in our beautiful new home. Maybe 5, maybe 6, yet to be determined. And you get pampered. You get so pampered that whole weekend. Food to order, organic food. We take all of your diet into consideration. You get me all weekend. We go on magical walks. It's just so much that happens in the span of 2.5 days. It's kind of crazy, but crazy magical. And, of course, the BU program itself. And all of that can be found on my website, angelchatter.com.
Awesome. And we'll have that on the bottom all the way through the video.
Thank you.
Set this up so people know where to go, where to find you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and sharing. I really love that. And please let me know when Mary Magdalene's ready, because I would love to get some of those decks in the store.
It'll be blazoned across the sky.
I would love to have some of those decks in the store as well.
Thank you.
We need to do this more often and a little.
We do, Goddess. I so love your energy. You're just so compassionate and giving, but you hold space beautifully.
Well, thank you. And if you ever decide to come to Denver, I have an author signing table out in my retail store now, and we can sure set you up to meet and greet people here in the store. I would love to schedule an event with you and have you here. So
that would be indeed well, I do have family in Denver, so you'll never know.
Well, when you come, let me know and let's get something on the calendar. So
okay, sounds perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for today. Thank you for those that have been watching. Please come in the store and check out. We do have her Angel Chatter book and her Oracle cards in our store. She also does some aromatherapy products with the angels, where they're sprays and oils, and we carry both of those as well. So come in and check all those amazing items out. Thank you again, and I hope everyone has an amazing day today.
Bye now.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet and how she can help you discover your spiritual gifts, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com and on YouTube at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you really soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Come experience the difference at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet and how she can help you discover your spiritual gifts, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com and on YouTube at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you really soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Come experience the difference at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.